Hi, everybody. I just wanted to poke my head in today. It's a beautiful sunny day out, so I'm going to make sure that I get outside and soak in some of that vitamin D. That's the beauty of being able to work from home. You have the day to yourself and to do what it is that you want. However, I do have my order of business that I like to do, and that is blog. Every day I write a blog post. I'm part of the Empower Network, amazing Empower Network team. And my immediate team is called the Prosperity Team. I love them to pieces. Now, Mike Hobbs and many of the team leaders that we have on there, there's so many to list, he has dedicated himself to even supplying blog ideas for you. But we get questions a lot about other blog topics if we didn't want to do, those given to us. But believe me, uh, Mike gives some really good content. He gives excellent information, advice, etc. As I've written above there. So if you're watching this from YouTube, you go to myempowernetwork.com/patio, and you'll find my blogging tips blog post there. And there I list all kinds of ideas that you can come up with. But I'd like to always try to get a video in because I love a balance of reading and watching and listening. So I personally like to try to get or try to appeal to all the different types of learning techniques that are out there, which is part of an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which I've also written blog posts about. If you're interested, check me out. And I should have a list of most of them on my website, empoweringfacts.ca. EMPOWERFACTS.ca. I've been working on that as kind of a sister site to my Empower Network so that I can have a nice little balance or even use that site as a backlinking. So one of the things and one of the challenges that appears to be a challenge for many, I mean, even myself, because I've always had something to say. I never typically run out of something to say. There's so many interesting topics, so many interesting things in our world, but sometimes when we're kind of put in this spot and we're focused on, okay, write something, and then you're committed to doing 5 days. We commit ourselves to 6 days a week with one day off, and but that being said, we're committed to writing a blog 6 days a week. And there's some days where, even myself, with so much to talk about, I even come up with some blocks. So some of the things that we could talk about, I've just written off a list of things that just came randomly, and plus from just snooping, I guess if you want to call it snooping, but I also read other people's blogs because I'm interested in what other people have to say, but also just kind of snooping. There's some really bizarre websites out there, or blogs, I should say, that have a huge following, but they're typically not topics that I would want to talk about. So I'm just going to focus on the ones that I think are relevant for me and hopefully my readers. So some of the things that you can talk about are share your opinions. You can also write about a reaction to someone else's opinion on a topic. So you can report the news, or you can report the news with your opinion. How about ask a question? Write a blog post about asking a specific question and having your readers respond to that. Write a blog post about answering a question. Something that you've seen out there that has piqued a lot of interest. How about writing a blog about something that you know very well of, and you do a teaching blog, so you can do it in a series. 5 steps to learn how to do this, and then do each day could be one step in teaching something. How about doing a demonstration, right? I myself am a mixed media artist, and perhaps maybe I'll even focus on doing demonstrations down the road. I know I do them specifically and focus on an art audience. However, why not use it as a demonstration for a blog post? So so for instance, you could do a demonstration on something else, but then issue a challenge and have your readership feed back to you, a challenge or a task. Write a blog about reflecting on past events, something that happened to you in the past that may have been traumatic at that time, and then, talk about how you reflect on that and how you've grown from it. Speculate about the future. So, talk about some of the current events that are here and then speculate on maybe what the future of that will bring. Cover a specific topic in depth, right? So really look at every little point about a specific topic. Doesn't matter. I wrote one about koi fish. What makes them so interesting? Because I thought, gee, like as an artist, especially a watercolor artist, you see a lot of watercolor artists, they paint koi fish, and it just kind of piqued my interest as why are koi fish always selected? And then that in turn made me question about the fish themselves, and then there you go. So that was an instant blog. Relate an anecdote. We do that a lot with Empower because we're all about positive thinking, positive growth, personal growth, and we often focus on those who are wanting to lift you up, and so you can take one of those anecdotes and talk about how it applies to your life. Report on a conference or an event, which you'll also see if you're involved in Empower Network. We have some pretty amazing events and conferences. We have hangouts and things like that. You can even listen to a hangout and talk about the content of that hangout and how you're applying that to your everyday. Another thing you could do is interview someone, on a topic that might be of interest. Review something. Many of us write about books that we're reading. They could be Think and Grow Rich. We also have a morning mindset call about Think and Grow Rich. Some of these great books from Og Mandino or Tony Robbins. Jim Rohn, and so many, or even just a fantasy book. Like the Harry Potter at one time was like all the rave. So if there's a new series of books that are out, write a review and become somewhat of an expert of it. Maybe even repackage an old post, like review it and then maybe see what's changed down the road and repackage it. Solicit guest blog posts from readers. So from your readers, ask them to write something and then you post it on your blog. You throw out a question about Facebook or Google Plus and let the response that you get from throwing that question out on those popular sites. Those are my two most popular social media sites, and Twitter, of course. But those are the ones that give you a little bit more of a feedback gap, right? Or a space to respond to. So you can throw out a question, and then whatever responses that you get from that will shape a new blog post. So, and then perhaps recap the results of a research on that blog post, or even perhaps maybe a report that someone else has published, and you could talk about that. I do that a lot too, especially when it comes to matters of GMO foods and things like that, things that I'm passionate about. You could even talk about how to increase Twitter followers. You could talk about things specific to marketing, of course. You'll see a lot of that with the Empower Network too. And they talk about them a lot because they want to help you to grow and give you tidbits and things like that. So they've focused on that as their niche. So some are SEO masters. They'll give you SEO tips for bloggers, how to get or increase Facebook likes, and that sort of thing. So, just in this blog post right here, I've just given you a whole plethora of ideas to talk about. So take it, run with it, and make it count. Have an awesome day.